It started off like a storybook flick. I was on break at work, scrolling through my notifications when I saw a message from Noah, my best friend since freshman year. We drifted apart after college, mostly because life got in the way. But out of the blue, here he was, and he wanted to talk. "Hey man, you got time this weekend? Want to grab lunch or something?" "Sure. Why not?" I hadn't seen the guy in months, and I could use a break from my disaster of a love life. I replied, we picked a day, and that Saturday, we met at this outdoor cafe in Midtown. He looked good, better than I expected. Clean cut, in shape, rocking a button-up shirt that screamed, "I'm doing okay now." The first 30 minutes were a normal catch-up. He asked how my job at the tech startup was going. I told him about the promotion. He told me he was helping out with the family business. And then he dropped it. "I've been meaning to ask you something," he said, swirling his iced coffee. "It's kind of random, but would you ever consider going out with me?" I laughed, not because it was funny, but because I genuinely thought he was joking. "No, for real," he said, leaning in. "I've had a thing for you for a while. I didn't want to ruin anything, but now I figured I should shoot my shot." It felt like someone pulled the rug out from under me. Don't get me wrong, Noah was attractive, smart, kind, charismatic. Any other day, I might have said yes. But not this time. Not after what happened with my ex. I took a slow breath and looked him dead in the eye. "I can't. I'm sorry. It's not you, it's your family." His face dropped. "My family." I nodded. "You really don't know, do you?" He leaned back, confused. "Know what?" And just like that, the memories came flooding back, ugly, vivid, and way too fresh. Let me backtrack. About 6 months ago, I was dating a girl named Alina. She worked at a local boutique, a small mom-and-pop place with vintage clothes and handmade jewelry. She was warm, funny, fiercely independent, and she made the best damn chili I've ever had. We were serious. Like, talk about the future serious. One evening, she called me, shaking, out of breath, and on the verge of tears. "They came into the store," she whispered. "Noah's mom and brother. They said you owed them." I had no idea what she was talking about. Apparently, they'd shown up while she was alone at the register. Noah's mom, Sandra, was loud, aggressive, and accusing Alina of hiding money from her. His younger brother, Trent, tried to reach behind the counter while yelling that he just needed some quick cash. When Alina refused and told them to leave, Sandra smacked a tray of bracelets off the display and knocked over a glass stand. Trent, meanwhile, made a beeline for the register. He actually tried to open it. And here's the kicker. The whole thing was caught on camera. Security footage. Witnesses. Police report. The only reason charges weren't pressed was because Alina's boss didn't want the store dragged into a lawsuit circus. When she told me everything, I was horrified. I apologized up and down. I tried reaching out to Noah to find out what the hell happened. He never answered. Not once. Alina broke up with me 2 weeks later. Said she couldn't be with someone whose family could pull something like that. And honestly, I didn't blame her. So when Noah sat across from me, eyebrows knitted in confusion, genuinely unaware, I realized 2 things. 1, he had no clue what his family had done. And 2, he was about to find out. "I didn't want to tell you this," I said carefully, "but your mom and brother showed up at Alina's job. They caused a scene. Your brother tried to steal from the register." He blinked. "What?" "Go ask her. Or better yet, ask your mom." Noah leaned forward, shaking his head in disbelief. Wait. Are you serious right now?" "Yeah," I said bitterly. "Dead serious." That was the beginning of the end for us. He was stunned into silence. "I'm not saying you're like them," I added, "but I can't ignore what they did. I can't pretend that didn't happen." He nodded slowly, then stood up and walked away. I figured that was it. But it wasn't, because 3 days later, I got a message from Noah's brother. And that is when everything started spiraling out of control. 3 days after our awkward lunch, I was back at work reviewing budget sheets when my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I let it go to voicemail. A minute later, I got a text. "You think you're better than us? You messed with the wrong family." There was no name, but I didn't need one. The grammar, the tone, the signature stink of unearned aggression. I knew it was Trent, Noah's younger brother. A walking temper tantrum with a car loan, 3 failed side hustles, and a list of petty misdemeanors long enough to wallpaper a room. I didn't respond. I blocked the number. 5 minutes later, my DMs lit up, Instagram this time. You a whole beat ECH for dragging my fam like that. We just needed help, and that gold-digging chick acted like we were criminals. Oh, so now he was justifying it? She's the one who shoved me. Ask around. You don't know what really happened. Right. Alina, who cried when she accidentally stepped on a ladybug, somehow shoved a grown man while being cornered in her own workplace? Sure, that tracked. Again, I didn't respond, but I took screenshots. All of them. The texts, the DMs, everything. Because here's the thing. I knew Trent. Knew the way he operated. He didn't threaten. He warned. He'd act all puffed up and tough online, but in real life, he was the kind of guy who'd throw a rock at a window and cry when he cut his hand. Still, that didn't mean I felt safe. That night, I checked my apartment windows twice. Triple locked the door. Slept with my phone on my chest and my keys within arm's reach. It was probably overkill, but I knew what people were capable of when their egos were bruised. And then Noah called. I almost didn't answer, but something in me needed closure. Needed to hear how he was going to spin this. Hey, he said, voice low, shaky. I didn't say anything. I talked to my mom and my brother. Yeah. I asked, what did they say? He sighed. They said you're exaggerating, that it was just a misunderstanding. That, maybe Trent got a little pushy, but no one tried to rob anyone. I laughed. I couldn't help it. You don't believe that, I said. I don't know what to believe. I didn't even know it happened. No one told me anything. Well, it happened, I said. And it wasn't a misunderstanding. It was straight up harassment and attempted theft. A pause. You said it was caught on camera? Yep. He went quiet again. I'm not mad at you, I said. But I'm not getting involved with someone whose family does that to people I care about. That's not up for debate. Noah exhaled hard. Okay. I'm sorry, I added. I really am. He hesitated, then said something that made my blood run cold. They're talking about coming to your job. My hand clenched around the phone. Who? I asked. Trent. And Mom. She's pissed that you're spreading lies about them. Says she wants to talk to your boss. Talk to my boss? Talk to my Fing boss? I shot up from my desk so fast I nearly knocked over my coffee. Noah, I said slowly. If they show up at my job, I will file a police report. Do you understand me? I'm trying to stop them, he said quickly. I really am. But Trent's unpredictable, and Mom, she's spiraling. She thinks Alina made the whole thing up just to poison you against us. Dude, she has footage. There were witnesses. This isn't gossip, it's documented reality. I know, he said, sounding exhausted. I didn't want this. I just wanted to tell you how I felt. I didn't think it would turn into all this. I sighed. For a second, I actually felt sorry for him. But then I remembered Alina's voice on that night. Shaky, scared, humiliated. The shattered jewelry trays. The broken trust. You didn't do this, I said. But your silence helped it survive. Noah didn't reply. We hung up shortly after. He sounded broken. I was just tired. But I wasn't ready for what happened next. Because the very next morning, I walked into work and saw a woman in leopard print pacing in the lobby. Noah's mom, Sandra. She looked up, locked eyes with me, and smiled. And I knew I was about to enter a brand new level of crazy. You ever feel your stomach drop so fast, it's like your body forgot to warn your brain? That was me, standing in the lobby of my workplace at 8:05 a.m., staring at Sandra, the woman who once slapped a glass display case like it owed her child support. She smiled like we were old friends. Fake pearls, shoulder pads, oversized sunglasses she didn't even bother removing indoors. I could practically smell the entitlement from 20 feet away. Hi there, she chirped, stepping toward me like she was about to sell me Tupperware. We need to talk. No, we really don't, I said, sidestepping past her toward the elevators. She followed, in heels, loud ones. Every step echoed like a warning bell. I'm not here to start drama, she said, like someone who definitely came to start drama. But I heard you've been spreading some really ugly lies about me and my son. I turned to face her. I'm at work. Go home. Funny, she snapped, smile fading like wet ink. You didn't care about boundaries when you let that little skank lie about us to everyone in town. That did it. I didn't care that we were in a public building, or that the front desk receptionist was now frozen mid-coffee sip. My voice dropped low and steady. You and your son showed up at her job, harassed her, and tried to steal from the cash register. She didn't lie. She survived your circus act. Sandra's nostrils flared. She looked ready to start a full Broadway performance right there in front of the elevators. But instead, she leaned in and hissed, "You don't know what loyalty is." I stepped back. "And you don't know what boundaries are." 2 security guards were approaching from down the hall. The receptionist must have buzzed them. Sandra straightened up and cleared her throat like she was the victim here. "You're ruining Noah," she said. "He was finally happy, and you're too busy being a coward to give him a chance." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I wasn't rejecting Noah because I was scared of commitment. I was rejecting him because his family turned someone I loved into a traumatized mess, and now they were trying to do the same to me. Before I could respond, the guards reached us. "Ma'am," one said politely but firmly, "we're going to have to ask you to leave the premises." "I'm just talking to a friend," she protested. "Not anymore," I muttered, stepping past her and into the elevator. The doors closed on her arguing with security about how I led Noah on and how everything had been blown out of proportion. My blood was boiling. I was shaking, not from fear, but from the urge to scream at something. To break something. To call Noah and ask him what the hell kind of life he thought I was supposed to sign up for. But I didn't. I kept my cool. I went to my office. I sat at my desk. And then I emailed HR. The message was simple. Unwanted visitor in the lobby claiming to know me, harassment name provided. Sandra affiliated with someone who's already made verbal threats via text and social media requesting formal building ban. They responded within the hour. Sandra was added to the do not admit list, and a copy of the request was sent to building security. Crisis averted, or so I thought, because that evening I checked my personal email and found something waiting in my inbox. A file. No subject, no message, just a video attachment. I opened it. It was shaky phone footage, clearly taken on the sly, likely by one of Trent's idiot friends. And in the video, Alina, standing outside her workplace, talking to someone. Then Sandra enters the frame. The next 40 seconds were a blur of yelling, a scream, a tray being flung to the sidewalk, and Trent lunging at the front door before being yanked back by a stranger. There it was. Undeniable. Proof. Why would they send me this? Was it a warning? A flex? An attempt to intimidate me? I saved the video, uploaded it to a cloud folder, sent a copy to myself. And then, for the first time since this nightmare began, I called Alina. She answered on the second ring. "Hey," she said, surprised. "You okay?" "No," I said honestly, "but I think you need to see this. We met for coffee that weekend. First time since the breakup." She looked good, stronger, but the tension in her shoulders told me she still carried that day with her everywhere she went. When I showed her the video, her jaw clenched. "Where did you get this?" "I think they meant to scare me," I said. "Or maybe they're just that stupid." Alina exhaled through her nose. "You know what? Good. Now we have more proof. Let them keep digging their grave." She was right. They didn't realize it yet, but they had just handed us the final piece. But what came next wasn't just legal. It was personal, because 2 days later, Noah showed up at my front door. He didn't knock. He didn't text. He just stood there, waiting. There he was, Noah, on my doorstep like a ghost from a better timeline. Hands in his jacket pockets, hair tousled like he'd been running his fingers through it nonstop. His eyes had that look, equal parts desperation, regret, and something darker I hadn't seen in him before. "I figured you wouldn't answer if I called," he said. He was right. I didn't open the door fully, just enough to look him in the eye. "You shouldn't be here," I said flatly. "I needed to talk. Face to face. Please." Part of me wanted to slam the door and be done with all of it. But a bigger part, maybe the part that missed who he used to be, was curious. So I stepped back, leaving the door open just enough for him to step in. He didn't sit. He stood in the entryway, pacing like he was trying to psych himself up for a fight. "I saw the footage," he finally said. I raised an eyebrow. "The one your brother sent me?" He looked surprised. "You got that?" "Yeah. Real smart of them to document their own crimes." Noah winced. "Look, I'm not here to defend what they did. I can't. I won't. But I need you to hear me out. I folded my arms. You've got 5 minutes. He started talking about how his family had always been complicated, how his mom's sense of entitlement was legendary, how Trent had problems, which was Noah's speak for a violent temper and no impulse control. He admitted he'd spent most of his life trying to be the peacekeeper, the one who smoothed things over, made excuses, patched up what his family broke. I thought if I could just get one thing right, he said, eyes pleading, maybe everything else would fall into place. And that one thing was me? I asked. He nodded. I know it's selfish, but when we reconnected, I thought maybe I could have something real, something clean. I let out a bitter laugh. There's nothing clean about this, Noah. Your family harassed my ex, vandalized her workplace, tried to rob her, and then came for me. This isn't a misunderstanding. This is a thing pattern. His voice cracked. I know. Then why are you here? I asked. To apologize? Or to beg me to ignore it? He hesitated. That pause told me everything I needed to know. You still want this, I said. I still want you, he admitted. But I know what I'm asking is insane. You're not just asking me to be with you. You're asking me to be okay with them. I'm asking you to believe that I'm not them. I stared at him for a long time. You're not. But you're also not strong enough to stop them. That's the problem. He flinched like I'd slapped him. You knew they were spiraling, I continued. And you still let them loose. You let them show up at my job. You let your brothers send threats. You let your mother corner me in public. I didn't save it, I snapped. You don't need a relationship right now, Noah. You need therapy and a restraining order. The room went quiet. I'm trying, he whispered. I'm not your redemption arc, I said. I'm not your project. And I'm definitely not your reward for surviving your own family. He looked like he wanted to say something else, but instead, he turned and walked out without another word. I shut the door and slid down the wall, exhaling hard. That should have been the end. But 2 nights later, I woke up to the sound of shattering glass. Living room window. Left side. I bolted out of bed and grabbed the metal baseball bat I kept tucked beside the nightstand. My heart was pounding so hard it made my ribs ache. By the time I reached the living room, whoever it was had already scrambled back over the fence. But they left something behind. A cinder block, wrapped in duct tape, with a note. Stay away from Noah. You've been warned. No signature, no phone number, just a threat, plain and blunt. I called the cops, filed a report, sent them the previous screenshots, the video, everything. They dusted the rock for prints, asked a few questions, and promised to look into it. But I knew the truth. This wasn't random. This was Trent. And this time, I wasn't going to wait for him to escalate again. Alina and I met the next day. We were already working on a police complaint together, but this took things to another level. We pushed for an order of protection. I gave my job a heads up. HR added extra security measures. They even offered me paid time off, which I refused. I wasn't going to run, but I was going to fight. That night, Noah texted me. I'm sorry. I had no idea he'd go that far. I didn't reply, because sorry doesn't mean much when you're sweeping glass off your couch at 3 a.m. And while I didn't say it out loud, I made a vow. If they wanted war, they were about to get it. It's a surreal kind of rage, the kind that comes after the fear, after the heartbreak, when you're not even angry for yourself anymore. You're angry because people keep crossing lines you never gave them permission to approach. They threw a cinder block through my window. They taped a threat to it. They made this personal. So I made it official. I met with a lawyer the next day, gave him the full rundown. He looked stunned by the sheer volume of evidence I laid out. Screenshots, emails, video footage, Trent's dams, Sandra at my job, and now property damage with a police report to match. Do you want to press charges? He asked. I didn't even blink. Yes. We drafted a restraining order request that same day against both Sandra and Trent. Alina filed her own. We coordinated with the officer who handled my initial report. Things moved fast, and it helped that I had already created a digital folder so airtight it looked like I was prepping for a congressional hearing. The real game changer? That security camera I'd installed last year. It caught a blurry but very recognizable silhouette chucking a cinder block through my window at 2:48 a.m. Trent. Hoodie, limp on the right leg, and his signature clunky run as he tripped over the sprinkler on the way back out. Idiot didn't even wear gloves. Police made the arrest a week later. Destruction of property. Harassment. Violation of an existing complaint. They didn't even have to search hard. He was at home, high as a kite, and bragging on TikTok Live that he taught some BTCH a lesson. Real criminal mastermind. Noah didn't reach out. He didn't need to. I knew. He was probably watching everything burn, helpless to stop it. But I didn't care anymore. The switch had flipped. This wasn't about who he used to be. This was about the chaos he allowed, and the danger I had narrowly avoided more than once. 2 weeks later, Sandra got served at her place of work. From what I heard through a mutual friend, she caused a scene so loud they had to physically escort her off the premises. But here's the twist, the final nail in the coffin. The boutique where Alina had worked. The owner sent us a text one afternoon with a screenshot attached. It was a GoFundMe, started by Sandra. Title: Help my son escape a toxic manipulator who's ruining our family. The photo? A grainy shot of me and Alina from 2 years ago, eating ramen at a street market. She raised $92 before the page got flagged for fraud. That was the moment it all clicked into place. Not just the insanity, not just the narcissism, but the deep delusion that had infected every one of them like mold under wallpaper. They actually believed they were the victims. It would have been hilarious if it weren't so terrifying. After that, things finally started to quiet down. Alina moved across town and started dating someone new. We stayed in touch, friendly, but distant. She deserved peace, and I was glad she'd finally found some. As for me, I patched up the window, changed the locks, installed a proper security system with facial recognition. I stopped waiting for an apology from Noah. It never came, but a few months later, I got a letter. Handwritten, no return address. I lost everything. They drained me, used me, lied to me. I see it now. But it's too late, isn't it? I'm sorry. Not for loving you, but for bringing hell with me. No signature. Didn't need one. I burned it. Because I didn't need guilt. I didn't need closure. I didn't need another sad excuse wrapped in nice handwriting. What I needed was what I had now. Silence. Safety. And a house with shatterproof windows.